Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together. I'm learning it first and maybe last because it's taking a while. We're all learning together how to peace out, right? Not get, even though we know stuff's going to happen, right? It's not like we live in a vacuum and it's like nothing bad's ever going to happen. We know that every day stuff happens. It can be big stuff. Now, I was thinking about Ziklag this morning. I'm already off on a rabbit, so just stay with me, okay? But I was thinking about Ziklag this morning because I'm reading through Joshua where that became their land. And then it was taken over, and then it was wiped out in David's time. And I was like, David only had one Ziklag, right? He didn't, that didn't happen over and over and over again. Now, he had other things that happened, but it wasn't like he was living Groundhog Day or something and it happened over and over. He only had one Ziklag. So I'm saying that to say we don't all, every day is not a Ziklag day. And that, if you don't know what Ziklag, where Ziklag was, it was where they came in and wiped out everything and took all their women and they plundered it and all that. Well, David ended up getting it back too, but they burned the city and all that. And so we don't have those huge, devastating things every day. And as a matter of fact, sometimes it depends on the circumstances and situations, but sometimes it's not those big things that really derail us, right? It's not the Ziklag, it's not the big losses, it's not the wrecks, it's not, those aren't always, it's not always the big things because we regroup, we get ourselves together, we get through it. It's the little things that nag at our brain and nag at our heart and sap our emotions day after day. A lot of times it's those little things that gets us. It's not the big stuff. We go into get through it mode when it's the big stuff, but the little stuff we just kind of go, we don't really pay a lot of attention sometimes. Well, I want to change the dialogue. I want to change my sentence starters. And here's what made me start thinking about it today. I was reading Joshua. I'm almost done with Joshua. And I was reading about, we got to Caleb's story in Joshua 14. And Caleb, was one of the 12 original spies, and Joshua and Caleb came back with yeah, there's 12. Was there 10? No, there's 12. And Joshua and Caleb came back with a good report. And the other 10 said, we can't take the land. We're grasshoppers in their sight. They saw what they looked like based on comparing themselves to the giants and the land and the problems rather than seeing themselves in the light of faith and what God had said. Now, that's the little stuff that gets us every single day. And that little escapade there cost them 40 years wandering in the wilderness. And Caleb and Joshua are 40 years older, but they're still standing when all the others died off, right? And here Caleb is at 85 years old, he says. He says, I'm 85 years old. He admitted where he was. He said, I'm still as strong as I've ever been. I will drive out the enemy. Give me my mountain. He started his sentence he said, I have followed God completely. From even the time that Moses and God promised me this mountain, I've followed God completely. I have, right? I have put my trust in God. I will put my trust in God. I followed God completely, Caleb said. And then he goes down in verse 10, he says, God has kept me alive and well as he promised. These 45 years since Moses promised me that mountain, he said, today I'm 85 years old. He admitted, look, I'm 85. This is not the norm, right? But that's still my mountain, right? And so he acknowledged the situation. He didn't cover his eyes and go, oh no, I'm not 85. Oh no, I'm only 10. Oh no, I'm too old or I'm too young. He said, look, I know I'm 85. I got that. But he said, I am still strong. He started his sentence. He didn't say, I can't do it. I can't fight. I don't know how. No, he said, I am so as strong now as I was when Moses promised me the mountain. And he goes on, he starts another sentence. He says, and I can still travel and fight just like I did then. I can, I am. So I'm asking you to give me my mountain, right? He goes on down, he says, if the Lord is with me, I will drive them out. This dude is 85 and he's going, give me that mountain. I'm still following God. He started his sentences with, I am, I will, I have followed God. I will follow God. I will take the mountain. I can do this. I know I'm 85. I know what the situation looks like, but I also know the God who is with me. I want my mountain that I was promised. So he had walked around in the wilderness for 40 years watching the people die off, basically. He walked around, and he didn't necessarily have what we would call a mentor. Maybe he didn't have a positive influence in his life, but in the middle of all those complaining people, similar to the Facebook feed, I shouldn't have said that, but may the court strike that record, but I already said it, right? He didn't listen to the nagging. He didn't listen to the murmuring. He didn't listen to the complaining. He just held on to what God told him. And then he shaped his sentences. The shape of his sentences, the start of his sentences tell us where his heart was. I can. I will. Gimme. Right? Give me that mountain. He was standing there. And so this is my task for me today. Now, if you want to join me, go ahead. But I was thinking, the reason this stood out to me is because I heard myself starting sentences like, I was praying, oh Lord, I can't figure this out. I don't know what to do. And that's okay. Those are legitimate prayers. But I want to change my sentence starters. I want to say, God, with you, I will take this thing. With you, I can do this thing. I will follow you. It goes back to that declaration, right? I will trust God no matter what walks into my life today or walks out of my life today. If I have all the support in the world, I ain't got no support. I will trust God. I'm going to put all that I've got in His hands, and I'm going to change my sentence starters. And I can start with God, I will take that mountain. With God, I will win this fight. With God, I can overcome these crazy thoughts I'm having. With God, I can overcome anxiety. With God, I will walk in peace because He's the peace giver. He's the God of peace. And Jesus is the Prince of Peace. They got a monopoly on the whole thing, and they invited us in, right? So what we got to do is figure out how we can walk in what we've been promised. What has He promised you? Caleb waited 40 years for the mountain that God promised him way back on the other side of the wilderness. Way back through the 40, I don't care what they went through. It was 40 years. I haven't held on to anything for 40 years yet. Right? Yet. What is God? If God promised us something, and one of those things is peace, one of those things is joy, the kingdom of God is righteousness. He promised us that His word is faithful, and He said, you're righteous. So we got to see ourselves in His eyes instead of letting people's thoughts and people's words and what others think about us shape our destiny. They have no power that we don't give them. So today I'm putting the power back in God's hand. I'm going to say, what did you tell me, God? What mountain did you promise me? Besides joy, peace, righteousness, patience, mercy, grace. I'm going to win. Through Christ, we always win, right? We've got the armor of God. So we got to focus. We got to get our focus off of what others think. Because he started with that. I know I'm 85. Look, Joshua, don't say nothing about how old I am. I know I'm 85, but I know that's still my mountain, right? So he didn't care. He knew that people were thinking, you're too old for this. And yet he was saying, no, don't even think that because I will. God is with me. I will. God is with me. I will trust Him. God is with me. I will have faith. I will follow Him today. We talked about follow the leader yesterday. I will follow that path as He lays it out. I will trust Him. I will give Him all of my concerns, and I'll take His peace in exchange. So change the first words of your sentence. Get those new sentence starters. Go from I can't, or I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, to God is with me. I will. God is with me. I will. God is with me. I can. Man, that's powerful. I'm going to be thinking about that all day. I hope you are too. And that's why I'm going to peace out today. How about you? Peace out. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.